Hey yo, what is good, y'all? I'm Malcolm McFadden, creator of 615 Comics, and you're watching the Yo a Nerd podcast. And this is episode 26, y'all. And before we even get started, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. All of that helps this channel grow, helps me reach more people, and also please tell your friends about me. All right, Yo a Nerd is a place where I just come and talk about different stuff I see in the whole nerd universe and different stuff that I like within the nerd universe. All right, and today I got a really good show for y'all. I think I got some really compelling topics, and I got some really whatever topics, to be honest with you. But we're going to get into this. We're going to start this off with the one and only, the new history of the DC Universe, the Dakota Incident. All right. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this. It's been everybody in the blurred universe seems to be talking about this, which is actually pretty good. But if you don't know, Milestone is big with the black heroes. They had Static, Icon, Hardware. They were big in the 90s, and then so they had a deal with DC. DC is their distributor, but Milestone still owns the characters, and like it's really been a big struggle to get Milestone books and like get them get like ongoing series with Milestone people. It's been a whole big battle, and now we've come to this to where we have this book, and one of the writers for it, Joe Illich, he's doing like 1,000. He wants to sell over 100,000 copies so that we can go ask for Static ongoing, and there would be no reason why they shouldn't give it to us. So and that started a whole uproar, you know, about it and different things surrounding this book. But for right now, I'm just going to talk about this book, and we can get into that other stuff a little bit later. But for right now, I want to talk about the book and about like what actually happens in this book. So what DC is doing now, they're basically bringing the Milestone characters within the actual canon DC universe, because they've been in Earth M. If you remember, DC was doing this whole thing about different Earths and stuff like that, and one of the things was Earth M, where Milestone characters lived, where you got like the season 1 of Icon and Rocket, season 1 of Hardware, Blood Syndicate, and Static, and season 2 of Static, all of that, and also what am I missing? The Shadow Cabinet, that was also on that Earth too. What else had happened? I think the Icon and Hardware crossover, that was also in that universe. So now that DC's bringing these characters and integrating them with the main line of the DC universe, all right, where Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all of them live, so they can all coincide in this new universe. And this book is basically to say where they've been and why they haven't been with everybody all this time, right? And that's what this book is about. All right, and so this book, to get into it, is written by a whole bunch of different artists, a whole bunch of different writers. One I mentioned, Joe Illich, Stephanie Williams, Nicholas Draper Ivey, and Morgan Hampton. I went to the back page to find all the writers, but I didn't need to. I already know them. But and Nicholas Draper Ivey, he's also one of the writers. He was the writer for he was the artist for Static season 1, and he was the writer for Static season 2. All right, he's actually been doing a great job with Static. He has a real passion for Static. So follow Nicholas Draper Ivey if you get a chance to. So to start this off, this book, like I said, this book kind of shows you where they've been. So it kind of starts off in the future, kind of like where older Static lives, and we start off with Beacon, who is Rocket's son. And so Beacon basically, their universe kind of gets messed up, whatever, and Beacon, right before everything happens, he kind of goes into the time stream, and then he goes basically back in time, and then he's trying to go fix things, fix everything, but then he kind of goes into like a different time stream and everything. But that is kind of the main story of everything. But this book does a great job of getting you up to speed on everything that had already happened in this other Earth, everything that happened with the characters of Dakota, like what happened with Hardware, what happened with Icon, Blood Syndicate, the Big Bang, and how all that happened. It really gets you really into the story in a great way, kind of brings you right into it to where we're in the thick of it, right? And so I'm not going to go into every single little detail that happens in this book, but basically since Dakota has like super powered people, and then Edwin Alva ends up dying. So then they start to blame like Hardware for that. And then so Lex Luthor, bald-headed ass, he Um, he basically says, all right, we need to go into Dakota and kind of stop this. And basically has Amanda Waller sending the Suicide Squad into Dakota to kind of stop everything, right? Which actually she sends like the old team of the Suicide Squad, which I thought was dope, because this is kind of takes place back in the day, like, so it kind of shows you when Lex Luthor was president, you feel me, back when Bronze Tiger was leading the Suicide Squad, you know. So it takes you kind of back in the day in the DC universe, and I kind of like what they did with that was actually really dope, because it takes you to a certain time in the DC universe, and it kind of starts in from there. But they kind of send the Blood Syndicate to kind of take over the people of Dakota and take out the metahumans, and it was real dope. So you get the Suicide Squad versus the Blood Syndicate, which that's dope. That was really dope to see. And then you get the heroes of Dakota start to jump in. Then we get Hardware versus Bronze Tiger. We also get Captain Atom versus Icon. And Icon lays hands on Captain Atom. He lays the hands. All right, and then the Justice League comes in and kind of intervenes. One thing I do want to say about this scene that was really dope that I liked was Bronze Tiger. How they use Bronze Tiger. They kind of use Bronze Tiger as like the black cop in a way, who kind of sees that that the authority is doing wrong, and that like he's on the wrong side of justice, you feel me? And that's kind of how they use Bronze Tiger. Like there was a lot of things in this book that were very layered, and I'll actually get into some of that in a little bit, but just the fact of using like Bronze Tiger, who's also a black character who also could get used more, using him as kind of like, you know, like the black cop that sees like the rest of the cops are doing wrong, and that he's on the wrong side of things. So then we come in and we get like the Justice League stops everything down. It's like this huge battle in Dakota. They're basically like destroying Dakota, and Justice League comes in and stops everything. And then basically like they're trying to call a truce. Like everything's trying to call a truce, and they bring in, like Lex comes in to talk to everybody. Jefferson Pierce also, because he used to work as Secretary of Education for Lex Luthor when he was president, right? So he kind of, I liked his part because he kind of tells Rocket and Static kind of, yo, do your own thing. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to say nothing. You know, you do your own thing if you want to, which is actually pretty dope. But they basically come to like this agreement, right? They come to this agreement that that the people of that there's no more metahumans in Dakota. Like all the metahuman activity in Dakota has to cease and stop, right? And then that leads to like Static and the heroes just basically going to live normal lives. They're no more heroes, they're not heroes anymore. So that's kind of says like where they've been at and what they've been doing, right? And then at the end, Beacon finds like college hood Static and is like, bro, I need y'all to come back. We need the heroes of Dakota. And kind of Static jumps back into action, and that's where we end the comic. All right, so definitely go pick this comic up. I love the love that this comic been getting. I've been seeing everybody and their mama go pick it up. It's like a whole movement. This is kind of like when Black Panther came out and everybody went to go see Black Panther. This book has made like a whole movement, and I am loving it. It's great to see. So definitely go pick this joint up. I think with the love and support that this book is getting, that we definitely should get more Static. All right. So man, I should probably just name this episode the Dakota Incident, because I'm gonna be talking about this a lot and about things about it. But like I said, this book was great, and I'm hoping that we get more, because honestly, as great as this book is, it kind of means nothing if we don't get more. Like if we like that ending with Static, it kind of made me mad, because it's like if we don't get more, this great book actually means nothing. That great storytelling that they did, them having this layered book, just having like different meanings in it, and actually really diving into the characters and stuff. Like I love when Hardware was basically like, bro, was telling Icon, bro, I'm ready to go at it. We can take out the Justice League, we can take out Lex Luthor, we can take out all of them right now. Just say the word. You feel me? Like I love that. Like I think they really dug into the characters, but it really would mean nothing if we don't get more. If DC doesn't give us more of this, more of the Milestone characters, more of Static, then this whole book just there's no point in this book. Like there's no point at all. But it's like it will be a great story that just falls flat, that ends with a cliffhanger. Like part of me kind of wish this was like a real one shot. You feel me? Like a real one shot that didn't like seem to lead to something, so that they could just be a good standalone book. Because if they don't, like I said, if they don't do nothing, this great book means nothing. You feel me? But hopefully they do. Hopefully the outroar of people and everybody talking about it and this being a big conversation, they actually do give us more, because I am hyped. Like, this book was dope. Like, the artist Edwin Galman, I think his name is Edwin Galman. He also did some of the artwork for the Mr. Terrific Year 1, which that trade paperback is out. Go check that out. But he actually does like some of the starting pages and the last pages. I'm hoping that he draws more Mr. Terrific and Static, because his artwork was just perfect. It felt great. So like, and especially how he drew Static's dreads, like them joints is fire. Like, Static's dreads never looked this good. Never looked this good, bro. Like, them joints look tough. You feel me? So I hope that he can get onto it. I hope that we get more writers like Stephanie Williams on these books. Like, I would love to see Stephanie Williams take on, like, I would love to see Rocket have like maybe a solo book. I would love to, or just see Stephanie Williams take on Icon and Rocket. Like, that would be fire. Or to see Morgan Hampton take on a Static or Hardware. You feel me? Like, or Joe Illich. I would love to see Joe Illich take on Hardware. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would love for a Joe Illich Hardware book. Like, that would be fire to me. But I'm just saying, like, I'm hoping that we get more. I'm hoping that we get more from this event. I'm hoping all the conversations that are sparking, which I love the conversations that are sparking from this. Yeah, this book would mean nothing if we didn't get more of Static, more of the Milestone. You feel me? So, but I'm gonna continue talking about this book and everything around it, because it's actually very important. So, one of the topics that I saw spawning from this book was, I saw it on Black Comic Lords. They were talking about basically Black Indies versus Milestone's whole thing was we shouldn't support Milestone because we're DC, and we should support more so indie, which I'm kind of on that wave, but I don't think that we should not support Milestone. Milestone is the OG. Milestone is the reason why a lot of us indie creators are even creating. You feel me? They are one of the biggest inspirations. I know, especially for me. You feel me? I wouldn't be creating if it wasn't for Milestone. So I don't think we should not support Milestone. I think we should support Milestone. Come out for these and show them that we want these characters, that we love these characters. But I think we can, at the same time, shout out the Black Indies. I think in the same breath that we shout out DC and Marvel for the things they don't do, I think we can shout out the Indies for the things they do. And I think we could also give praise to Milestone and also give praise to Black Indies. I think we can definitely do both. I think that you can give the same energy to one, especially the content creators. All the content creators, especially if us, we're going to complain about what DC and Marvel are not giving us. I think we can definitely put the same energy to the people that are giving us that, and also put the same energy to Milestone. You feel me? I think it's just, you know, you have to do it. You really just have to do it, right? It can't be no argument about clicks and likes. It can't be no argument about this and that, or I was meaning to do it, or I want to do it, blah, blah, blah. We just got to do it. You feel me? I think that we can definitely show love for the big time Black creators like Milestone, and show love for the indie creators like Stranger Comics, Concrete Comics, Wazir Comics, Godhood Comics. I think we should. I think we can still show Advent Comics. I think we can still show love to all these these indie comic companies, and still show love to Milestone. Us as Black people shouldn't be up against each other. Like, it shouldn't be us Black Indies versus Milestone. No, we should work in tandem, because if Milestone does good, then it should trickle down to people wanting more Black stories, and then seeing us giving those stories, or just them seeing, hey, these Black stories are profitable. Hey, maybe we should look into getting more Black stories. You feel me? You get what I'm saying? So I definitely think it shouldn't be a debate of Indies versus Milestone. It should be Indies and Milestone versus everybody else. You feel me? That's how I feel. It should be us versus everybody. But there was a great conversation on the Black Comics Lord page. Definitely check them out. A lot of the conversations around Black Indies and Black Comics and Black Comics period they do a lot of the conversations about it. They talk about it like every week, for real. So definitely get into that, and they actually have a community of people that actually talk and give their thoughts. You can argue with people over there, you can agree with people, you feel me? So definitely check out Black Comic Lords. But what more can I say about this book? Yeah, it's like I said, it's a phenomenal book. It started a lot of conversations, sparking uproar with like DC and wanting them to give more of their heroes, Black heroes, shine and then more respect and do more with them. So I think this is a movement that's happening. I think we're like in a renaissance. I've been saying this to people. I think we're in a renaissance of black creators, especially in the comic book genre. Black creators coming up, telling our stories, and then putting our stories out there, and actually putting out great stories too. So I think we're in a renaissance of black creators. I think we're in a time of we're in a shift. I think there's definitely a shift. I think that we're starting to talk more about where our money should go, especially when I'm talking really in this comic book scene. And I love it. I love the conversations that are sparking. I love that, you know, that the more love is being shown to black indies. I'm loving just everything that's coming from this. I'm hoping that we also get more Milestone, but if we don't, and we don't get more black heroes, indie creators are trying to fill that void for you. All right, so I think that's all about the Milestone I have to talk about. Okay, we're gonna talk about, hold on before I end it, this is something I want to talk about. This is kind of with the Milestone black indie, but not. Let's talk about how Justice League Unlimited number 16, how for their Black History Month variant cover, there's a very dope image of Vixen. Vixen don't appear in that book at all. At all. Not even a cameo. Bro, you could at least put a cameo of her in a book or something. There's no way, like, you flaunting this character out for Black History Month and there's no content for this character. Like, there's no content for this character out there. Like, you just flaunted that cover out there, and if somebody saw it, there's nowhere for them to actually go get more Vixen, at least right now. There's old Vixen content, but I believe that Vixen actually has never had ongoing in DC. I believe DC has never had an ongoing book by a black. I could be wrong. Naomi was a ongoing. I could be wrong, but they haven't had one in a minute for like a black female character. Because Nubia wasn't an ongoing. That was a miniseries. But yeah, Vixen, I don't remember the last time she got an ongoing. I don't know if she's ever had an ongoing, to be honest with you. I can check that. But I think it's just kind of disrespectful to put her on the Black History Month variant cover, but there's not even any talks of her having a book. I think it's also disrespectful that that Batwoman is on like her third series, you feel me, and that but Vixen can't get a book. I think it's actually disrespectful that Catwoman doesn't really sell like that, and then she still has a book. I don't believe Harley Quinn. I think last time I checked, Harley Quinn sales were also bad, but she still gets a book. You feel me? So I think the only women in DC that were actually killing it is Wonder Woman and Poison Ivy, I believe. Also, the Cheshire and Cheetah. They just got a book for some reason. A little miniseries that ain't nobody talking about or reading. But Vixen can't get a book. Like, at this point, that's not sales. I don't think that's sales. Because look up the sales for Cheshire Cat, Cheshire and Cheetah, something to Justice League, Rob the Justice League or something like that. Ain't nobody buying that. Ain't nobody buying that. So if it can't be sales, you can at least put out a Vixen book. Because if ain't nobody buying no series, you feel me, and you're still putting them out, take a chance on Vixen. Alright, I just wanted to get out there. I think that I just thought that was mad disrespectful. But we're gonna come off the comics. One thing I want to do, I actually want to talk about more nerd stuff that I love besides comics, but of course I'm going to talk about comics. But next we're gonna go into a little WWE segment. Yes, I'm a wrestling fan, been a wrestling fan for most of my life. So one thing I want to say is I hope Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker get better. Alright, they're both injured and I can't wait for them to come back. But the Vision is trash. The Vision is so trash. Bro, the Vision is trash. Nobody needed Logan Paul and nobody needed Austin Theory. Nobody needed them. Bro, when Seth Rollins left, it could have literally just been Braun and Bronson Reed. It could have just been those two as division, and I would have been fine with that. They could have won some tag titles together. I would have been great with that. We did not need Logan Paul and Austin Theory, bro. They just made it so uninteresting and dumb. Like, we did not need that. And now the two interesting people of the division are injured, and now we get Logan Paul and Austin Theory. They might as well just make a stupid little tag team together, you feel me? But get Paul Heyman away from them. Just put him back with Brock Lesnar until the real people come back. Alright, you feel me? Like, I hate division. Not even gonna go on too much about that. Just hope Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker get better. Also, Chad Gable. Bring him back. I'm tired of this. El Grande Americano. Like, bring back Chad Gable. Just have him be Chad Gable. I'm mad that man went on that whole Lucha Libre tour thing that they were doing. Actually, was kind of cool, but he don't even be using Lucha Libre moves. You feel me? He just be coming out as like Chad Gable with a mask. Like, he just be doing the same taunts and everything. Like, you should have, like, this is dumb. Get both of the El Grande Americanos out of here. Like, I would have liked it if it was like a real, like, American Lucha Libre wrestler. Like, you feel me? Like, somebody like real really trying to be like a Lucha Libre and not just be wearing a mask. You feel me? So that would have been dope. But the El Grande Americano, get that out of here. Also, what are they doing with the women's mid titles? Like, the United States title has been so dumb. I thought the women's mid titles was a great idea because they have the talent to do that. They have the talent in the women's division to do the main eventers and then the mid card. You feel me? They had that. Do that. Like, give us more of the United States title. Give us more of the Intercontinental. I like Becky Lynch with it. At first, it seemed like they were doing more with that title, but then I don't know what is really happening with it now. But I'm hoping that Becky Lynch can do more with time, make it more prestigious. But one good thing that I think WWE's doing is they're black wrestlers. Triple H done heard the allegations. He was like, all right, bro, you're not going to get me under the Vince McMahon allegations. I'm going to show y'all. Like, he gave us Oba, Javon Evans. Trick Williams is killing it. Trick Williams is a major star right now. Trick Williams is killing it. He's on promo tours. He's doing interviews. Trick Williams is the next big star, bro, and he should be. His in-ring ability is fire. His skills on a microphone are fire. He's charismatic, bro. He already has a pop. He has a chant that people love, bro. Like, my man with the lemon pepper steppers be killing it, bro. He's killing it with the lemon pepper steppers. So I'm loving what WWE's doing with their black wrestlers. It seems like the black wrestlers are the future. I mean, they should have been, but finally they letting us out. They letting us out there and flourishing. You feel me? So that's one thing I love about WWE is they're giving back to their black wrestlers and they're bringing them up. Wish they would have did that for Shelton Benjamin. But let's go on to one other thing I want to talk about real quick is what happened to Game of Thrones, bro. Okay, I'm not one of those people that hate the last season of Game of Thrones. I get y'all arguments about it. Everything y'all be saying, I be understanding. I'm still cool with the season. But after that, like House of Dragons, I started that joint was just boring. Okay, that joint was boring. And then now they got the Seven Kingdom things, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The trailers don't even look good. The trailers don't look like I really need to watch this. Feel me? Like, Game of Thrones was so good. It was like a cultural thing. It was like a phenomenon. Everybody loved Game of Thrones. Everybody was talking about it. And then it just went boom, just downhill. Like, I just don't understand it. I think it needs to be studied. Because, like, House of Dragons, I think people were hyped for it, and then it came out, like, the hype just really went down, and then now this new season, I don't see no hype for it. I'm not hyped for it. I didn't even care. I didn't even try to start it. I'm probably not going to start it because I didn't finish House of Dragons, and I'm not going to finish that. But I think it's just crazy how something that was so popular can just lose steam like that. Like, these spinoffs should be popping. Like, anything they do after Game of Thrones should be popping, but it's not. And, like, what happened to Game of Thrones? Really, that's all I got to say about that. Just really what happened. I just wanted to talk about that really quickly. For this next topic, we're going to go into a little bit of music. One of the most popular things right now is in music is J. Cole, right? All right. And before I even go into music, I'm also a nerd of music too. So I still rap. I make beats. So I'm like been heavy into music for most of my life, to tell the truth. Most of my life now. But so I wanted to talk about more music topics on this podcast. Not like go deep into them, just every once in a while I talk about some music. So one of the biggest things is J. Cole's The Fall Off, right? And then just to tell y'all a story, I am a huge J. Cole fan, and I can actually say I can be one of those like hipsters and be like, I knew it before everybody else was on it. Like, I was a big fan of J. Cole before people actually knew who J. Cole was, and it's actually a funny story because my brother-in-law, who is now a J. Cole hater. He's a J. Cole hater, bro. He don't even be hearing the albums and just hating. And then he was the person who got me on to J. Cole. He is from upstate New York, right? And then him and my sister met in college. So when she would come home and he would come visit us here in Maryland, he would have like his big old case of CDs. You remember the CD cases where it had all your CDs? He was one of the people that used to take the booklets out of the CDs and then put it in his CD case and put the CD on top of it. Yeah, he was real thorough like that. So he had this big CD case, and he would always have like burnt CDs of like different mixtapes. He was real big into underground hip hop, so he would have burnt CDs of mixtapes and everything. You feel me? For y'all that don't know what burnt CDs are, burnt CDs was when you take the music off of like iTunes. For y'all, it would be Apple Music, but you take it off iTunes or Napster or whatever like that, and you would burn it to a CD. You would basically, let me not say burn it because y'all don't know what that means. You would take the songs and put them on the CD and put the CD in a CD player, and that's how you would play your music, for y'all that don't know that. But yeah, so he would have a whole bunch of burnt CDs, and then he came home, came to Maryland, came to visit. He was like, oh, I got this, my man's just gave me these 2 new mixtapes, you feel me, by this guy. He's making his way around New York. He actually may be getting signed soon, you feel me. He actually said he may get signed to Jay-Z or something like that. And then the mixtapes he had, burnt CDs, was the come up and the warm up. This he probably got this from a guy that got it straight from J. Cole. You feel me? You like, cause the J. Cole was running around New York putting those out there, and so like he had to come up in the warm up, and so I was bumping that. So before J. Cole even got signed, I was already hip to him. And it's actually funny because my brother-in-law is now a J. Cole hater. But I say all that to say is his new album, I'm not really feeling it as much. And I said that all that so you J. Cole haters can't say J. Cole stans can't say I'm a hater, you feel me? I actually do like this album. On my second listen, on the first listen I was like, this shit is blah. But on my second listen I was like, yeah, this shit is actually dope. I love the story. I love what he did with it. I just don't think I need a story album anymore from J. Cole, to tell you the truth. But also, I just think that there's other albums I'll put higher than it. My favorite is still Born Center. I loved the album. I loved the concept. I loved how he was kind of going through growing pains in that album, and that makes sense for me as a man. When I was listening to the album, I was kind of going through the same things, like coming into myself as being a man, kind of like J. Cole was, and he was using 90s samples. So as a 90s baby, I love that. But yeah, Born Center is still probably my favorite album. I think Forest Hill Drive is better than this, but I think this album was still good, but still wouldn't rank it as high as I do the other J. Cole albums, if you get what I'm saying. Hope he still say he would make more music, and I'm hoping that he does. For me, I think also why I wasn't as good as first listen, because I was expecting him just to go into this album just killing shit. I was expecting, like, if this is your retirement album, which he kind of made it seem like it was that, I was expecting the Black Album, because Jay-Z came in just like just killing with the Black Album. You feel me? So like he was just spitting. Like if that was his last album, that was an album to go out on. And I felt like the fall off, I was hoping that he would come in just killing it, because he's been on the feature run just killing him. I thought he was just gonna come in this joint killing it. When I heard double disc, I thought one disc was gonna be a concept, another disc was gonna be full of features and him just murdering stuff. You feel me? But I do love the fall off and how he said it was like the end of the story. Like I think he said the Born Center and then Forest Hills, and this was kind of like the end of that J. Cole story, that Jermaine Cole story. You feel me? So I know I might get killed for saying I ain't really like the J. Cole album, but I just wanted to put that out there. But I want to end this podcast off with some comics that I'm like, I want to bring this back to comics and want to end it off with some comics. Comics that I'm reading right now that I really like. Final Boss. Its Image is written by Tyler Kirkham. I could be saying it wrong, but he's one of my favorite artists for DC. He drew Deathstroke, and he's done other things, but he has his own comic now called Final Boss, and this joint is really kind of like a video game, like, and also like when they fight, like when the main character fights somebody, they show like their levels and their stamina, and then like as the battles go on, he just keeps getting stronger. So the main character keeps getting stronger. So I love Final Boss. That one is very interesting, really action based comic, and I really love that. That's good. Moon Knight #1 just came out. Mark Spector's Moon Knight, and Jared McKay I think that's his name, Jared McKay. Let me actually check that. He's been killing it with Moon Knight. Like, he's been killing it with Moon Knight. And then now they have a new series called Mark Spector Moon Knight. You feel me? And then Jed McKay. And then his Mark Spector Moon Knight. And what I really like about this series is they're really going back into Moon Knight's different personality disorder. You feel me? They're really going at, and I love that when they go into like his mental illnesses and then use that. Not saying they haven't been doing that, but I love when they do it, especially when Jeff Lemire did it back when he had his run. That was great. And so I think they're really, with this new series with Moon Knight, they're back into that. All right. And actually, Jed McKay, like, he's been writing Moon Knight since, what does it say, 2021, bro. Go back to his start and just go there. Like, his whole run of Moon Knight has been spectacular. It's probably been one of the most consistent runs in comics. Like, he's been doing it since 2021. It's probably been the most consistent thing in comics, in my opinion. But also comics I'm reading, I just read White Sky. It's a post-apocalyptic comic, and people were saying that this is right up there with like The Walking Dead and stuff like that. And I gotta say, from the first issue, it is. It's like post-apocalyptic, but with a different twist. You know, every time you do post-apocalyptic, it's always got a twist. But this one, I'm really loving the twist and the monsters in it, because you don't really know what the monsters are yet. So I love White Sky. You definitely got to go check out that. Crownsville by Rodney Barnes is a great horror comic that's out right now. Rodney Barnes is a great horror comic writer. Like, he wrote like Philadelphia, Night of Hall's Nightmare Blog, Blackula. He also has another horror comic that I didn't know about until just now. Like 30 Days a Night is connected to those movies, and it's like 3 issues I need to check out. But he has one called Crownsville right now, which is basically like a kind of like a ghost story in my actual hometown that is about this abandoned hospital, you feel me? And he is writing about that, and this horror story about that, which makes it really dope, because it's like a horror story set in my own town. It's like my own little Jason Voorhees or something like that. So that's also one to check out. Dork, which is like dwarf and an orc, that is very popular right now. Apparently that's like selling out. That book is out right now. It's actually a really good like fantasy book to check out. What other books am I reading right now that are really dope? As of right now, that's all I got on my mind. But those are the comics I'm liking. Those are some of the comics I'm reading. And I think that's one thing I'll do to start wrapping up these episodes, is tell you about comics that I'm actually reading, actually liking at this moment. Because I think one thing I've been talking about lately is that comics aren't just superheroes. Comics aren't just vigilantes. And I think that's why people, when they talk about comics, about not being able to get into comics, or that like manga is way better than comics, I think they actually just mean the big two, DC and Marvel, superhero cape shit. I think that's what they're talking about. Because when people be like, comics don't really got stories like that, blah, 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 that is a lie. That is a lie. There are so many different comic book stories, from romance, horror, action, mystery, anything you can think of. Comics has it. We just got to think outside of the big two. And I'm not saying don't support the big two, but if you're looking for something more different, you got to look outside the big two. You actually got to search, bro. We got Google. You got AI. You could literally ask AI to point you in the right direction of books outside of that. So let's not be dumb, people. With all the tools we got, let's not be dumb. You feel me? So if you're looking for something like more so that fits your fancy, find it. If you want to get into comics, it's actually very easy to get into comics. You find a volume 1 and you start there. Literally. So that's how I want to end out this episode. And I also want to thank everybody for watching and supporting the podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about me. And let's start. I want to start discussions like these topics that I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about them just to talk about them. I want to actually start discussions about them. Like, so I want to see what people think. I want to see people with solutions to some of these problems we having. So let's talk about. Let's argue in the comments. Let's disagree. Let's agree. You feel me? Let's get it popping. But this has been another episode of Yo Nerd, Malcolm McFadden, and I really want to thank y'all for watching, and peace.